It is most likely just this individual that is barricaded in one room within the building. We have no inclination as to where. We have no inclination as to who this person is or what they want.
This afternoon, Ottawa police reported that the Parliamentary East Block went into full lockdown as a result of an unidentified man barricading himself into a section of the building. As of this recording, there are no injuries and the lockdown is still ongoing.
Let's take a look.
The Parliamentary Protective Service has declared a lockdown at the East Block of the Parliament buildings. Ottawa police say a man has barricaded himself in the area of the East Block. That block has been evacuated. Video into our newsroom show about a dozen police vehicles from Ottawa Police and the PPS are on the scene. Officers carrying guns are blocking the entrance to the grounds. Police have closed the area of Wellington Street that is in front of Parliament to vehicle and pedestrian traffic, and yellow police caution tape has been put up. They have brought in a bomb squad robot to deal with the situation. Ottawa police say there are no known injuries. They say officers continue to deal with an individual and that the incident began just before 3 p.m. They're asking the public to please avoid the area and follow the direction of officers. The alert went out about a half hour before the Prime Minister arrived back in Ottawa. Let's now bring in Chris Lewis, CTV News public safety analyst and former OPP commissioner. Chris, good evening and thanks for your time. Without speculating too much, what could account for this sort of a lockdown, Chris?
Well, good afternoon, Akshay. Ultimately, there has to be a weapon involved, either actually a physical knife or gun, potentially, or the threat thereof. Sometimes people will say, I've got a gun, I've got a knife, etc. But, I mean, parliamentary security scans everybody that goes in there. So it either has to be an employee or someone that was legitimately let in for legitimate business and went through security, or someone that snuck in somehow or another, which is unlikely, but it's still a possibility, and time will tell.
You know, the fact that they have brought in a bomb squad robot to deal with this situation, what does that tell you?
Well, it could be one of two things. One, it could be that they expect explosives or there's a threat thereof. Or sometimes they use those robots to establish communication with people. They may send a robot in that has a camera and a microphone on it and get almost face-to-face with somebody in terms of the negotiation process, not necessarily because there's an explosive device of some sort there.
And now we understand that a man has been barricaded in the area, Chris, but how much of a public safety concern do you think this could be?
Well, it's concerning that it's our Parliament buildings and somebody's got in there or was in there and then decided to go rogue for whatever reason. That's concerning. There's no real threat to the public here because it's contained. So whoever this is not going to get out of there without being approached by police and confronted. So if he has a weapon, he will either drop it or police are going to use force. And so, in all likelihood, the contain, negotiate process will run its course, and the individual will either give up or potentially harm themselves or come out fighting, and then the police will have no choice but to use some sort of deadly force.
Okay, so...
This is an ongoing situation.
Yeah, very scary thing that's been going on. So it's been about 7 hours as of the time of this recording, and this is still being reported going on X. If you follow the Ottawa Police Service account, nothing has changed. Now, if you're wondering exactly where this is a map of Parliament Hill. And on the bottom right there is East Block named East Block for obvious reasons. So we have the center block that is still under construction, and then you have West Block, which is where the House of Commons has been temporarily moved while center block construction and restoration is underway. So what is in the East Block?
So East Block is primarily senators' offices. It's there on the right. You can see it has an open air courtyard, and it's for the senators and their staff primarily. Now, we've been through security pretty much at all the parliamentary buildings at this point, except for Center Block because it is closed to the public. But when you're going in as a member of the public, or whether you're going in as media, or maybe you're an employee, or maybe you are doing like a delivery there, everybody goes through the same security procedures, which is kind of like airport security. You take everything like your purse, your camera bag, your equipment, your belt. You have to take your belt and your watches off, and it all goes through the x-ray machine. Then you go through a metal detector. If there's anything that beeps, they'll pat you down, and then, you know, once everything's clear, they send you on the way. So it is very much like airport security.
Now, the employees, they have a different process than everybody else because they've already been pre-screened and pre-cleared. So in many cases, they can just, you know, almost walk right in. So when we're looking at the possibilities of what has gone on here, as the public safety correspondent mentioned, that the only reason that they would go into a lockdown is because there's been a person with, you know, brandishing a weapon of some sort, either a knife or a firearm or something like that. And, you know, either somebody was an employee and they brought it in that way, through the security process that is more relaxed when it comes to employees, or there was some other way that they ended up getting a weapon while they were in there.
Well, just speculating, I suppose it's possible that somebody could have taken an employee's badge and tried to enter that way, impersonating an employee. Because again, all Parliamentary Hill employees, as well as government employees at large, they all have to go through security screening, and they all have their own security clearance, so that they don't have to go through the airport style security every single time that they're going to work. It's pretty much that the government trusts them because they have a security clearance, so that they're trusted to be able to come into the building safely and do their job. So
you know, we've reached out to some of our contacts that work in that building, offering our well wishes and hoping that everybody is safe. As of the time of this recording, we have yet to hear back from them, but it is late at night, and we understand that most, if not all, the building has been evacuated, so that is good news. As we mentioned before, we also understand that nobody is injured at this point, and it is most likely just this individual that is barricaded in one room within the building. We have no inclination as to where. We have no inclination as to who this person is or what they want. Now, it was interesting to note that they did say that they brought in the bomb squad robot, and I'm inclined to agree with the analyst, where they were suggesting that what could be going on is the police are using the robot to approach the individual safely, to be able to communicate with them and try and understand, you know, what the end game is and what their goal is for being there in the first place. And that way, it keeps the individual and the police officers that are trying to deal with this situation safe, keeps the situation, you know, at a low temperature, and instead of having people, you know, necessarily right outside the room, you know, speaking to this person, to hopefully de-escalate this and get the person out safely
and come to a safe and peaceful resolution.
And that way, all involved are you know, remain out of harm's way. So so this is an ongoing situation. No doubt there is going to be a review of what happened, an investigation of how this person managed to make it in there. Again, maybe they're an existing employee. Who knows? Anything is speculation at this point, so we're not going to go down that path. So anyhow, if we get any significant updates, we will let you know. But let's just keep our fingers crossed that this situation ends without any harm coming to anybody.